Hey there, and welcome to another GTA 5 car review. And today, we're taking a look at this pretty unique, semi-custom Declasse Rancher XL. So we need to review the XL. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip, take a look at the interior next here, take it for a brief test drive around my new road here at my new house, as well as give you a look on the interior as well as the exterior. And as I said, I'm here at my home, here in East Los Santos. I don't have its exact address, but it's a pretty nice little house. So let's go ahead and start up the Rancher. Now the Rancher is, of course, as you can probably tell by it being outside my house, a personal vehicle. Now to use remote start, as I've mentioned in previous videos, you simply hold the touchpad on PS4 or the interaction button on whatever it is on Xbox. Go to vehicle remote functions and turn engine on. You can also change your radio station, turn on your headlights and neon lights if equipped, and all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and shut the engine off and go hop on in. This car is gloss blue. It did have a secondary color, but when I say semi-custom, because I simply took the secondary color and changed it to the same blue gloss color. Also has a brown interior. Nice sound from the V8. Leather wrapped steering wheel to match the brown interior. Power is routed through, I believe, a 5-speed automatic transmission. You have manual windows with power locks. It's also a pretty nice setup of 5 seats. So let's go ahead and check out the rest of the vehicle. I'm actually going to pop that driver's door back open as well as turn on the engine for remote start so we can kind of go in the background with the engine on. So the Rancher is based heavily on the Chevrolet/GMC Suburban of the 80s and 90s. Now, if you remember what that is, if you're a car person like I am, you'll know that was the CK generation of Silverados and Sierras and all that good stuff. And the Suburban and Yukons and stuff like that were all based on the truck. Now, the Rancher, it appears to have a lot more basis on that CK generation with the front end. Of course, kind of getting away from the Chevrolet and GMC badge and replacing it with a simple Declasse badge here on the lower right-hand corner. While giving it still that kind of look of the 80s truck. If you want to be historically correct, this is basically a GMC Suburban. But if you want to be accurate with the brands, it's more than likely a Chevrolet. As Declasse appears to be representing more Chevrolet vehicles than Cheval, another brand in this game is. I also have, I'm going to go ahead and say it, but I have a review coming up soon on the Cheval Picador, which will be kind of neat to have my first Cheval on the channel. The vehicle has a long wheelbase. Obviously, it was built off of a truck frame. Now, why I don't understand why it has a middle bench but no back bench as a real Suburban would, I'm completely clueless of. But it does appear to also have power locks on the back door as well. It's got a Rancher badge as well as a Declasse badge on the back. It has a dual exit exhaust on the left side, chrome bumpers, all that good stuff. This car is basically stock, except for the secondary color being deleted. Basically, it is a stock vehicle, so there's no customization options in this one. Now, to buy a Rancher XL, all you have to do is simply go to the phone or the computers in your garages, go to Travel and Transport, Southern San Andreas Super Autos. You can filter by price. This is remarkably cheap. A Rancher XL is $9,000, so I, of course, ordered mine in blue. Pretty nice price, and it's a pretty decent little truck. I've driven it a few miles, took it to the 24/7 supermarket down the road. You know, it's a pretty nice little truck. So let's go ahead and pop the hood. To do so, you can simply go to Vehicle Doors, scroll over to Hood, and hit X to open. Now, very similar to the CK generation Silverados, it's running on a V8. It's with the fuel. I believe this is the throttle body fuel injection, not the carbureted setup that previous models had, as it appears from the block. Now, if it were being historically accurate, this would have a carburetor on the top. But since it's, of course, it's GTA, they don't want to be historically accurate. They stuck with a what appears to be a throttle body setup. The real-life engine's produced in the 200 horsepower range, but had a pretty good amount of torque for the time period. I believe in the 300 to 400 foot-pound range. So she's got some torque, not a lot of horsepower though. So top end, if you're gonna race these things, like race them, top end is not your best friend. You'll want to stick to something more basic. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a sound clip in the inside. I'm gonna move this over so I can see the gauge. I'm going to go ahead and shut those doors. So in the interior, you get a pretty nice setup of gauges that do kind of solidify the theory of it being based on a CK generation, because CK generations had very similar gauge clusters to this model here, the Rancher. Similar radio design as well. I believe the cup holder was even in the same spot. I like how it's been detailed slightly with more work than a lot of the other cars in this game, with the brown interior, as well as the pleated looking bench in the back, which is pretty neat of the feature. You have, I believe, 1 or 2 air vents. You have one to the left of the steering wheel and one to the right on the passenger side next to the door. You have an AM/FM radio in the center. Of course, due to copyright laws, I'm not going to use so. With your AC controls being just below that. You also have a cup holder with a can of E-Cola in there, which is pretty neat. You have your fuel gauge in the middle, as in the top left. As you can see, you can probably tell it's fuel. You got your voltometer or battery gauge on the right of that, with your tachometer on the right and your speedometer on the left. You also have your turn signal stock with your transmission controls being located on the floor. If I could get a better angle, I'd show you. You've got your lights and stuff in the middle underneath the fuel and voltometer, where you can turn on your lights and stuff like that. Also, your check engine lights there. So let's go ahead and check out the back seats. Now, as I said, you can kind of see a little bit at this angle in the window, the transmission controls on the floor. To open the back, you can simply be a passenger in the vehicle, or you can use the vehicle doors and open up the rear door. I'm going to open up just the rear left for demonstration purposes. You get quite a lot of space in the back, surprisingly. There's a bit of a drivetrain hump here in the middle, but you can still see 5 in this vehicle. Maybe not very comfortably, but it will work out. Let's go ahead and shut that door and switch to the trunk. Pretty large trunk. Of course, this is based on a Suburban without the back bench, so you're going to get a good bit of space. I'd probably guess somewhere maybe in the 20 to 30 cubic foot of cargo space range. Alright, so let's take it for a test drive. We're just going to go down the street and back. Pretty nice handling little truck. As you can see, it's very quiet. I do like how quiet it is. We're going to pull in over here on this side road. I'm going to get on it a little bit. Tell you what though, it does have some oversteer tendencies, which aren't too big of a problem if you're going at low speed. But if you're getting on it just so short, it's gonna try to slide. You can get some minor wheel spin as well on the launch. I'm going to switch to third person so I can back the truck back into my driveway here. Alright, so that'll do it for this in-depth look at the Declasse Rancher XL. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.